Hello, this is Ella from All Writers Welcome. Here to talk to you about do it yourself ebook covers in 5 steps. So, how do you make your own ebook cover in five steps? So, we're not going to deep dive, but we're going to go through like A, B, C, D, how to make an ebook cover, especially one that sells. So, some of these steps are a little bit marketing related, but they're important that you don't forget them. I mean, that's part of the key bit, right? Is to make an ebook cover that people want to buy. So the first step to making an ebook cover that sells is browse the top selling books in your categories and see what the covers look like. Like, what are other people doing that works? It's really important because a lot of people try to make their ebook cover based on the story. Like, I saw a lady in a different group recently who was doing a Japanese themed story. And so she had a lotus flower, but it was a fantasy. And she had this very pale pink with a lotus flower and then the title. And I was like, that's not fantasy. Like it looks like it could have been a poetry book, but it didn't look like fantasy. So what you want to do is you want to pick out your Amazon categories and then go look at the categories and see what the best selling books are, because that's what people are clicking on. So that's step number 1 in making an ebook cover. Okay. Step number 2 is in those categories, when you're looking at them, identify the books that look at the ones that you like, because or maybe that are related to your book. You're like, oh, I like that book. I like that book. I like even like snip them. I copy and paste the book covers to a different Google Doc, so that way I can just look just at the ones that I like. And the second part of that is I also look at the ones that look kind of easier to make. So there's definitely some that are like boom, 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 and I'm like, whoa, 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 not a graphic designer here. But there are some that I'm like, that's a good cover and not that complex. And a lot of times the ones that aren't as complex, they look just cleaner, because they don't have like so much stuff going on, but they have this really clean and appealing look to them. So that's step 2, is identify in those categories the ones that you like and the ones that look kind of easy to make. And ideally the ones that, would kind of go with your story too, if you can. But that's like, the third thing down to think about. Okay, step 3 is to identify Step 3 is to license a really good stock photo. So you need to license a good photo. You don't want to go, I don't recommend going to Creative Commons, because I had a thing where I went Creative Commons. I was searching for things and used a photo that I had found in Creative Commons, and somebody had put it there and it wasn't Creative Commons. So you can find good photos for $1, and then license that really good photo and then use it for your book. So where I go is I use stock.adobe.com. You could also use 123rf.com. And if you're using Canva to make your cover, Canva has its own little database of photos. So those are also available there. So that's step number 3, is to license a really good stock photo. Step number 4 is to use a free online editing software like Pixlr and or Canva to put your cover together. So let me see. I think I have a thing. Here we go. These are the ones that I use, Pixlr and Canva, and I use them for different things. I use Pixlr because Pixlr has a little bit more functionality, like freedom and functionality. So you can do like shading where you want to do shading and do transparency, and And Canva, though, has better font selection. And when you download the image or you download the cover, it's better quality cover. So I use Pixlr to kind of prep things, and then I take them over to Canva and I finish it off. So what you want to do is use those free online editing softwares, and you might have something else that you use. Great. And that's where I put the cover together. And Canva's fun to where you put the covers together because they have a bunch of examples of covers that you can model your cover off of. You don't have to do it exactly, but you can be like, oh, I like that in that cover. And oh, I like that on that cover. I wonder if I could put those together for my book cover. And though, keep in mind, though, that it should still look like the top selling books in your Amazon category. Like, don't go clear off on the thing. You want to look just like the books in your category. You want to be like, I look just like these because there's what's working. They're selling tons of books. I have a software, like some of the books in like romantic urban fantasy or paranormal romance. Dude, those people are making buck. So you want to do what they're doing so that you can make buck too. Okay. Step 5 is step 4 was to use the online editing software like Pixlr or Canva and make your cover. Now, step 5 is to go through the All Writers Welcome ebook cover checklist and make sure that everything on that list is checked. So the cover checklist has stuff like, is your title readable when it's really small? Because that's like something that I think that people forget because they're like, oh yeah, I really like this font. And they pick some kind of script font that's like, and you can't read it very well because when it gets into small, tiny, like I buy most of my ebooks on my phone. Well, when Amazon is giving me recommendations for me, those things are only like, less than an inch tall. So you don't see that many script fonts down there, because people know that you can't read a script font when it's only that big. So the checklist has all kinds of like little tips and tricks like that on it. And here we go. And you can get that checklist at allwriterswelcome.com/checklist. It's just, it's just a handy thing so that after you make your cover, you're like, okay, that's check mark, that's check mark, that's check mark, to make sure that you have the best cover that you can. And even if you aren't planning on making your own cover, right? If you're planning on hiring somebody, which is fine, maybe if your forte is in writing and you aren't a graphic designer, go ahead and hire somebody to make your cover for you. But you're still going to want, it's like, I think of it like as going to like the car mechanic, right? Like when I go to the mechanic, I don't know anything about cars. It's not my job. I do this kind of stuff. So when I go to the mechanics and they start telling me, oh, well, you should do this, you should do that. And I'm like, do I need to do that? Well, I don't know because I have no information ahead of time. But you now have watched this video. So if you're hiring somebody and you want to have a little bit of information before you go to them and say, hey, go ahead and download this checklist, because then you'll be able to say, I want A, B, C, and D. It should have these things on it. Da, 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 da. So that's, or if you're just buying a pre-made one, whatever, have the checklist. So that way you make sure that you are getting something that will sell to your audience. Okay. I just want to ask you guys, if you've seen, let me know if you've seen some people who maybe have not designed ebook covers that sell. Like, go ahead and like this. If you're like, thumbs up, man. If you've seen some covers that you're like, oh man, I don't know if that's going to do so well. And, or, like if you found anything helpful in this list. So I'm going to go through real quick. Okay. Do it yourself step. Step number 1 is browse the top selling books in your category. Step number 2 is identify the ones in those categories that you like and that look kind of easy to make. Step number 3 is to license a really good stock photo. Make sure it's licensed, pay for that up front, then you don't have to pay buku bucks later like I did. Step number 4 is use a free online editing software like Pixlr or Canva to put your cover together. And step number 5 is to go to allwriterswelcome.com/checklist and download that checklist so that you have everything you need to make an awesome ebook cover that sells, or to hire someone to make an awesome ebook cover that sells. Okay? And this is Ella Barnard coming to you from All Writers Welcome Facebook group also on allwriterswelcome.com. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you later. Thank you.